How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Chris Holt, and today we're gonna go through and keep working on the engine. This is part 2 of a multi-part series. I don't know how long it's gonna go. It's Wednesday morning for me right now, so I'm doing this up and live for you guys, and we'll just see how far I get to go today. In last episode, I got the engine in, kind of tore it apart, and cleaned it up a little bit. So we're going to continue with cleaning it up and probably taking off some of the hoses in this video. So now that I'm back in the garage, here's my engine again. Kind of an update. Yesterday we dealt with the lines over here, took the power steering pump off. Today I'm going to kind of deal with the wiring harness. As you can tell, it was cut there. I've got it in the car. And just deal with a bunch of the hoses that, and throttle cable right there. These two hoses on top, just like some cut off stuff. Just gonna kind of work with that. This guy right here, I'm not too sure what it is, but I believe it's gonna be the same as that right there, just missing the face, and then obviously the top and bottom bolt is missing on that. Gotta make sure that that's not broken, and just kind of take it as small steps each time that I can, It's a big project, and just gotta make it what it is. Make it as easy as possible. Break it down. Alright guys, I've got the wiring harness mostly out of the front of the engine. Took off some of these clips right here, some of the bolts, and it just kind of has a little tray in there right underneath the intake manifold, and you trace it back to the back of the engine. So I'm going to try and get most of that out, and it just comes back, I believe, to here, and we'll see where that goes and try and take that fully out. Alright, to get access to more of this wiring harness stuff, I had to take this cover off. So one bolt there, one there, one underneath right there, and then one back up in here. And then also take that hose off right there and just set that one aside. Hopefully that exposes us, see, obviously, to more of these wires, more stuff to get off that's been chopped, and yeah. So on this side I got everything unclipped, I believe, including the spark plugs, I believe, are down there, and then you can kind of just start to hear it. So we're getting them out. Then I gotta cut that zip tie right here. And hopefully we're getting closer to getting this full wiring harness out. So I'm back on the passenger side, and right here is the injector kind of clip, and on the other side too, I think that's the last little part of that side of the wiring harness, and it's being a huge pain, so just kind of hard to access. And yeah, so yeah, the passenger side injectors are very difficult. Even with the reservoir off, it doesn't really change it much. Kind of a pain. So on this side over here, we finally got that last injector out, and so we got most of the wiring harness out, and we're trying to feed it through to the back right here, and realize that this tray that it's been sitting on is held on by two 12mm bolts, one down here and then one here on the other side, back up behind the intake manifold. So hopefully we'll be able to get the wiring harness all fully out here in the next short while. So we're looking at the new motor right here, and it's got a lot of spots like this where it's just completely whacked up. We don't know what's going on, so we decided we'd use the old motors, like top parts like this, and we took the wiring harness out, or are continuing, and then the bolt down here on the tray got stuck, and just a couple of different things like that was broken. So we decided to look at the old motor's top intake manifold and stuff. And so I've taken off all the bolts here, so it's going to be a little bit of a pain to put them all back in. But we have everything on here, and the wiring harness is still there. So I think we're just going to take this one and use it on this motor. So just completely take off all of the intake manifold and use it kind of more as a long block, as well as the turbo is going to come off of the old motor, and then use this and the new the old turbo on this motor. So I went ahead and took the intake manifold off, sitting right there. Something I'm going to get is a new gasket set, because these aren't looking too happy right there and right there. So I'll get a new gasket set for those. Hopefully somewhere around we'll have them today. And in turn we'll put that one on after I get the new gasket set and new gasket set on. And then I also think I'm going to take this turbo off, because inside there it doesn't have shaft play, but it's got a bunch of crap in there, and I've got a pretty decent same turbo from the old motor that'll go in that place. And yeah, so hopefully I can get more done today. Hopefully they'll have the gaskets and I can be back at it within, you know, the next hour or so. Alright, so since I got the intake manifold off, that's the new one, old one back there. I just put some old microfibers covering up the intake gaskets, just because, or the holes into the intake, because you don't want anything, you know, to get in there. Next step I'm going to do is removing the turbo, coming around to the back side of it. Just got to disconnect some of the lines and stuff. This elbow being one of them. There is also a feed line, this one right here, coming in underneath. Yeah, just to remove that. Then I'm probably going to clean it, turn it over, and paint some of the rusty spots just for a little bit of extra protection. You probably don't have to, but you can kind of see the oil pan a bit better from here. Kind of rusty, not too bad, but just since I'm going to reuse it, and I'll, you know, repaint this line as well, just for a little bit of extra rust protection, and make sure to clean all this stuff up. So I went ahead and took the turbo off, and it's actually kind of cool. You can see how small the turbo is, and actually the difference. So that was kind of the old one, and it's got some crap on the inside. I can get it in a little bit better lighting here in a little bit. And then here's the old one, but the one that I'm going to use. It's just in better condition, better shape, so we're going to end up using that one over that one that was on this engine. And so now the engine's right here pretty clean. You can see a lot of it off. So I'm going to go ahead and wire brush a lot of this off, and then flip it over and start painting. Go forward. Blocks out.
Okay, is that enough or you want more?
That should be good. So to do my oil pan down there, I'm just going to use some of this primer. For me, it doesn't matter what color it is. I know factory it's black. And honestly, I don't even really need to do this, but I'm just going to do this for the rust protection sake. Now, it's not like a huge deal. It's not, you know, it's just little surface rust. But I figure since it's out of the car, it's easy to do. I'm just going to go ahead and spray it a little bit and hopefully make it just a little bit nicer and last a little bit longer. So like I say, I don't need to do this, but I'm just going to be kind of gentle with it. Just make sure that the rust is not an issue going forward. And being very light with it too, just making sure that kind of the rust spots don't really have any more places to grow. And it doesn't need to look, I'm not making it to look good or anything, it's just going to be to help with the rust. So. Alright, so I just wire brushed off the whole engine. Now I'm going to use the shop vac to kind of get all the dirt and particles off of the top of the engine, just completely out. And then I'm going to pick it up, maybe get some help for that, and turn it on its side so I can paint the oil pan just to do some of the rust protection. So I went ahead and did some digging in my old engine parts. Found this timing cover right here, which should take up that spot. I don't think it's going to be the easiest to get on, but it's just going to take some... Oh, there we go. I guess it's on. So then I gotta find the bolts for the 3 bolts. One right there, one there, and then one right there to get that on. And then that should be good. I figure this is something easy that I can do while the oil pan right there is drying. So also in my kind of spare parts, when I disassembled the other engine, I make sure to have the timing cover bolts right there. So should find the right 3 and get that side all locked in. So I went ahead and set the engine back up, and then I'm kind of masking off the center pulley right there, and then I'm going to spray it just for rust protection and just want it to be all good. Now that I got that sprayed, I'm still going to leave the towel around it just in case I need to put one more light coat on it. But now I'm going to mount up the turbo. So I'm going to use the right one is the one from the old motor that was in the car, not the one that I got with this motor. So I'm going to do that, bolt that one up, and it should go right about there. Alright, I got the turbo on, at least with a couple bolts mounted and a couple of lines. And so what I'm doing, since I don't have all the bolts on this turbo, they're, somewhere in my parts bin. I have this turbo right here, and then the turbo that was originally on this motor lined up right there, so I can take the bolts off of there and directly put them on to that one. So it's just going to be pretty easy like that. Then once I do this, I'll probably do the same with the intake manifold, as I'm just going to set them next to each other. Should make it pretty easy for me. Alright, so I've got the turbo fully on and fully plumbed. So now I'm going to go to work right here on the intake manifold. So this one right there was the one that was on the car, or on this engine, and that was the one on the car. And like I said earlier, I've taken all these bolts out and stuff. So I'm going to take from this engine right here all the bolts and transfer them to here. And it'll be easier to do side by side. That way I can just kind of see where everything goes and do it the right way the first time. Alright guys, that took some time to get to the new one right here from the old one. I think that took over an hour. Took quite a while to get it, but I think we got all the bolts from the old one now here onto the new one. And here in the next little bit, I'll be putting it back on the engine. Alright, so I'm going to take the old gaskets, the intake manifold gaskets, off. Should come out decently easily, or with a little bit of help here from my flat head. Just kind of gonna go easy with it. Perfect. So there's these little tabs on the end that's kind of getting caught. So if you can see the small little tabs right there, that's what was giving me trouble on that one. See on this guy, this one looks like it's going to be easier, there's less in the way. There we go. And I'm just peeling them up because got that new set. And there we go, that one's off. Now before I put the new set on, I'm going to clean the face right here where the gaskets were sitting before the new one goes on. So I'm going to go ahead and clean these surfaces right here, right on the outside of the intake manifold, and just before I put the new gasket set back on, before putting on the manifold itself. So this was the gasket set that I got for the manifold. So what I've decided is these right here, the circles, are for kind of the in-between. So the upper intake manifold is this part right here, and then there's kind of a lower part here, and I think that the circle ones are just right in there, which I don't need because this one right here is already fully on, but then these right here are what attaches to the block, and so I think it's gonna be, yeah, looks like it's gonna sit right here, getting these up and over on top of the tabs, like so, and like so. And now the lines will line up perfectly. Do that with the other side as well, and we're ready to put the intake manifold on. So now I've got the intake manifold on, got the bolts down there in the corner. There's 4 of them on each side. Got the turbo hose hooked up to the turbo right there, and we should be just about ready to put her back in the car. And once I get all the lines hooked up and everything like that, we should be good to go. Thanks guys for watching. That's as far as I got today. Hopefully in the next video I'll be putting the motor in and possibly getting it all wired up, all the hoses and all the clips and stuff in. But stay tuned for the next video. I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you guys liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.